Lamau. Howdy. I'm turning the music down again. In my ears. So it turns out I lied. Whoops. That's not the first time that happened. I didn't end up actually coming in back yesterday to play more of this. Did get very busy. Went to a haunted house for birthday party. So we will be continuing on Slime Rancher today, and I'll be starting up the next episode of Welcome to Night Vale, which should be episode... Ooh, question mark. I want to say we finished up 7 yesterday, which means that we will be on 8 now, and we'll continue from there. We just finished. Yes, were we on? I think we're on history week is what we need to do. So we're on episode 7 now, and starting that up.
It's a deadline or just to decide is brought to you by Progressive. A little off your on all states and cities.
There we go. Again, you won't be hearing much from me while I stream because we'll be listening to this. But yeah, I'll make my various comments as we go through.
Hello there. As you well know, faithful listeners, it is Night Vale History Week, in which we all learn a bit about what made our bustling little town what it is. Or, as the official motto released by the city council goes, poke about in the black recesses of the past until it devours our fragile present. In the interest of civic participation, Night Vale Community Radio will be pitching in with short lessons about some points of interest from our town's history, starting with
Oh, what's up, Moth? How's it going?
4000
Turn
BC.
this down again real quick.
Archaeologists believe this is the earliest date of human
Howdy. Did you take care of yourself today? I did just eat my lunch. I'm at schedule right now, so yeah, I won't be staying long. I just stop by and say hi. Give I hydrate. Oh wow, 1,000 curses upon you, sweetie. Thank you for the hydrate. Thanks for hopping by. It's much appreciated. But yeah.
never came closer or farther away, but whose presence could be felt even with eye huddled in fur and the company of another human's naked skin. Or, so I'm extrapolating from the evidence. The cave paintings mainly resembled smudges now,
So yes, we did
after their
listen to
original
that.
discoverer attempted to
Even live chat sessions with your therapist. When you want to be a better problem.
There we go. Let me mix that up. With pleasure, dear friend. Yeah. You're so proud of yourself for
Next
that.
Saturday is the big lottery drawing, listeners, right out in front of City Hall. And your community radio station has put together a few helpful tips for winning. The lottery is, of course, mandatory. But how can you get the best odds for drawing a blank white paper and not one of the purple pieces that means you'll be ceremoniously disemboweled and eaten by the wolves at the Night Vale Petting Zoo
Yeah,
and
can't wait to
makeshift
see you
carnival?
tomorrow, Slady.
I know to some of you young people, this lottery seems like a barbarous, outdated tradition. But if not for municipally planned citizen sacrifice each quarter, how else would we find satisfactory meats to feed those sad, scrawny animals? So, here now are the 3 I's of playing the lottery. I-1. Identify. Learn to sense colors. Purple has a grittier emotional aura than white. I-2. Ignite. Set fire to your home. While it's not true that wolves refuse to eat arsonists, it's a scientific fact that they're unable to detect the presence of one. I-3. Imitate. If you happen to draw a purple piece, impersonate someone who drew a white piece. You might be mistaken for a person who is colorblind. This, of course, will lead to months of painful color re-education at City Hall. But in most cultures, that's better than being eaten by wolves. Also, make sure to visit the Food Truck Festival, which will be downtown as part of the lottery festivities. Popular truck treats include Korean barbecue, vegetarian chili, and veal ice cream. Carlos, this station's favorite scientist, no offense to Dr. Dubinsky in the Night Vale Community College Chemistry Department, dropped by our broadcast location earlier this morning for a little chat. Sadly, dinner or weekend plans were not among the topics. However, Carlos did request that we ask listeners for anyone who saw a series of bright, colorful flickers coming from Radon Canyon this past weekend. These flickers would have also been accompanied by unintelligible noises, possibly some form of coded communication or signal jamming technique. Carlos suggested that there could be some very sinister forces at work here. He declined to be interviewed live, claiming only that he was scared for us, scared for all of us in our strange town. Then he drove away quickly in his economical but attractively sporty hybrid coupe. If anyone out there knows anything about these otherworldly lights and sounds, please contact us immediately. Night Vale School Superintendent Nick Ford announced today that the Glow Cloud has joined the school board. The Glow Cloud passed over the entirety of Night Vale several weeks ago, dropping small and large animal carcasses, controlling our thoughts and tertiary muscle groups, and erasing every last recording device. We're still unsure the Glow Cloud even existed, as no one remembers it, nor has any digital record of it. If not for a few intrepid citizens who used old-fashioned pens and pencils to record the event in their diaries, we would have no remaining knowledge of that day. I, of course, can only thank those journal writers anonymously here on the air, as the Night Vale City Council long ago banned writing utensils, along with margarita glasses and barcode scanners. And I don't want to get my fellow reporters in any trouble with the sheriff's secret police. According to Superintendent Ford, the Glow Cloud's visit on that nearly forgotten day was simply an effort to find a nice neighborhood with good schools to raise a child. Now, what kind of progeny a powerful, formless cloud of noxious nightmares and spiritual destruction might produce, I dare not even speculate. But I do know one thing. That little cloud is going to get one heck of an education in the Night Vale School District. And isn't it heartening to hear that that little puff of despair's father or mother will serve on the school board? I mean, no matter how good the school, a student can only get out as much as the parents put in. We should all take such an impactful role in our children's scholastic lives. Especially you, Steve Carlsberg. You don't do anything except bring unacceptably dry scones to PTA meetings and take grammatically disastrous minutes on your shifts as meeting secretary. Get it together, Steve. Superintendent Ford offered the following statement of support for the newest school board member. All hail. Kneel for the Glow Cloud. Sacrifice. Pestilence. Sores. All hail the Glow Cloud. And now, traffic. This morning I saw a running man. He passed by my home, panting, limping, running desperate. I tried to stop him, but he would not meet my eye. This noontime, I saw a running man. He was coming down from the mountain holding a bag. His knees were bloody, and face covered in tears. This evening, I saw a running man. He was leaving town, legs pumping like a terrified heart. I think he was missing a hand. Is it that he wouldn't meet my eye, or that he had no eyes? Now I wish I could remember. There are many things I wish I could remember. This has been Traffic. New billboards have appeared all over town, bearing the image of a turkey sandwich and the single word harlot in large block letters. These billboards have caused some confusion, both due to their ambiguous message and to the fact that the entire structure of the billboards materialized overnight in places billboards are not usually constructed, such as the living rooms of local homes, the middle of busy thoroughfares, causing multiple car accidents, and, in one case, directly through a living dog, who has not appeared harmed by the addition to his body and has carried the entire billboard around town while going about his usual canine business. The Department of Health and Human Services recently claimed responsibility for the billboards, saying that they were part of a campaign to promote nutrition and healthy living among children. The original draft of the release also mentioned something about an offering to a long-dead god, but this was altered to fun, active lifestyles are important for kids of all ages in a subsequent addendum. We're receiving several phone calls from listeners and from the Parks Department that those flickering lights and unintelligible noises we reported on earlier were coming from the Pink Floyd Multimedia Laser Spectacular. I contacted Carlos about this, and he said that the situation is even worse than he imagined. He, again, did not mention weekend plans.
Tragic.
A sports scandal has shook our quiet little town. The Night Vale Scorpions have faced multiple allegations of possible game tampering this football season. Representatives for the Desert Bluffs School District, speaking in unpleasant and high-pitched voices indicative of weakness of will and character, complained to the Regional Football and Traffic Code Authority that Night Vale quarterback Michael Sandero's recently grown second head counts as a 12th man on the field, thus invalidating the wins brought on by his also recently acquired superhuman agility and strength. The RFTCA said that they would look into these allegations with the utmost seriousness, along with their concurrent investigation into whether Night Vale's invisible crosswalk policy is actually a desperate bid to save town funds at the cost of pedestrian lives. Meanwhile, the school board is due to announce its decision in their ongoing hearings as to whether appealing to angels for a win constitutes illegal game tampering.
Oh, shit.
Several angels agreed to testify at the hearings. However, their testimonials were cut short when it became apparent that the hearings were actually elaborate traps set up by the city council to finally capture the angels, whom the council does not recognize as actually existing. Fortunately, the angels easily escaped from their cages in a blaze of heavenly light, presumably returning to old woman Josie's house, out near the car lot, which has become something of an informal shelter for local angels.
Sorry, football.
When asked about the controversy over his team's winning record, coach Nazar Al-Mujahid said, Our boys are good boys.
There we go.
They're good boys at football.
Good boys at
We win 'em
football.
with the boys. The football. Then he smiled vacantly, waved at no one, and wandered off in the direction of the woods. More on this story as it develops. And now a word from our sponsor. Step into your nearest Subway restaurant today and try their new 6-inch mashed potato sub. Top it with a delicious assortment of fresh vegetables, like French fries and Nutella. They'll even toast or poach it for you. There are several Subway locations in Night Vale, all easily accessible through witchcraft and chanting. And between now and November 30th, buy 9 reverse colonics and get a free 40-ounce soda or freshly baked tobacco cookie. Subway. Devour your own empty heart. Exciting news about the abandoned mine shaft outside of town where people who vote incorrectly are taken by the secret police. HBO On Demand will be made available to prisoners during their indefinite detention. All your favorite shows, such as The Wire, Sex and the City, and even new hits like Game of Thrones, will be available in every cell.
Oh, sweet.
Additionally, the secret police announced they will be randomly executing 1 prisoner a day until all incorrect votes are corrected.
Cool. So I have the brine now.
This just in. We're receiving word from the City Council that there was absolutely not a Pink Floyd multimedia laser spectacular this weekend at Radon Canyon. That there never was a Pink Floyd multimedia laser spectacular ever near Night Vale. Pink Floyd is not even a thing, said the council in a very stern but quiet statement just received by me here via phone. The council, and this is strange, the entire council, not just a representative of the council, the entire council issued this statement, all speaking in unison just now over the phone. That Night Vale citizens are prohibited from discussing any lights now glowing both day and night. And he heard the shouts and footsteps of what sounded like an army marching upwards toward the world above. He also said that, given that nothing really matters now, bowling is half off, and each game comes with a free basket of wings. Nothing like those desert flower wings. Let me leave you with this, dear listeners. We lead frantic lives, filled with needs and responsibilities, but completely devoid of any actual purpose. I say, let's try to enjoy the simple things. Life should be like a basket of chicken wings, salty, full of fat and vinegar, and surrounded by celery you'll never actually eat, even when you're greedily sopping up the last viscous streaks of buffalo sauce from the wax paper with your spit-stained index finger. Yes, that is as life should be, Night Vale. Stay tuned next for a special live broadcast of the Night Vale Symphony Orchestra performing Eugene O'Neill's classic play, The Iceman Cometh. It is a good night, listeners. Good night.
And now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when faced with a challenge in life. In therapy, I work regularly on my focus. Working alone from home, I sometimes can't find the best way to accomplish what I need, whether it's a deadline or just to decide on what to do for dinner. Therapy gives me someone to talk to, even about...
Hey, Joseph Fink here. Did you know that, along with writing, how every love story is both a 11? But I think adults who enjoy...
The sheriff's secret police are asking the public's help in catching a dangerous fugitive on the loose in the greater Night Vale area. They say he is armed and should be approached with extreme caution. For everyone's protection, they are keeping the name and description of the fugitive secret, but indicate that all strangers should be mistrusted and avoided, as well as friends and loved ones, because how well do you know those people anyway? Are you aware of their location every second of every day? Who among us does not have secrets? The fugitive is wanted dead or alive, and vigilante justice is, as always, highly encouraged. Our top story today. A large pyramid has appeared in the center of the Beatrix Lohman Memorial Meditation Zone, destroying over half of the zone's state-of-the-art meditation equipment and paraphernalia. Experts have been contacted as to what could cause sudden pyramid existence. However, as it turns out, there are no experts in pyramid materialization, and the town's other experts offered up merely shrugs, followed by panicked conjectures, and finally, screams and moans, all of which fell uselessly upon the city council's merciless ears. The pyramid has been described as a kind of triangle shape, only three-dimensional. It has made no movement despite repeated taserings by the sheriff's secret police. Many suspect that this may be a publicity stunt pulled by our own local cereal company, Flaky O's, who are launching their new line of nighttime-only cereals next month. An angry mob has formed outside of the cereal factory, just in case. Telly. You remember The deceitful barber with a shriveled soul who, just a few weeks ago, cut perfect scientist Carlos's perfect beautiful hair very short, so very, very short, thus depriving our community of our only remaining pleasure. Well, Telly was seen recently wandering the sand wastes, howling at the sky and holding up Carlos's shorn locks, as though begging God to reverse the crime he has done. Reports indicate that his skin was blistering, that his eyes were bleary, and that he was recently seen trying to give a cactus a haircut, whispering and cooing into what he seemed to think was its ear. Listeners, I am not one to stand aside harshly and say that a man deserves the punishment that comes to him. But I also am not sorry to see Telly in this state, given his crime. In any case, if your cactus is in need of a haircut, try Telly, out wandering the sand wastes. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say that I am not a cat person, but I have really grown to love Kaushik, the stray cat that has made his home here at the radio station. I discovered Kaushik several weeks ago, hovering in a fixed location in the men's bathroom, and he's remained there ever since. The men at the station, of course, have taken to keeping the sink at a light trickle so he can get water, and we even take turns buying Science Diet low-calorie cat food. It turns out little Kaushik is getting a bit chubby since he can't actually exercise in his unmovable, levitating state. Oh, and thanks to our new intern, Brad, we've finally solved the litter problem. Brad is very excellent at both carpentry and dark magic, so he rigged us up a fine-looking litter box that our floating feline friend can reach. Oh, he's just adorable, that cat. As a lifelong dog lover, I've really turned the corner. Kaushik is wonderful. I know several others here at the station that feel the same way. After meeting Kaushik, Michaela, who works in sales, put her 3-year-old Weimaraner to sleep and then adopted 6 tabby kittens. She's that much of a convert. Make sure to take some cute videos, Michaela. And for others of you interested in getting a new cat, the Night Vale SPCA strongly recommends that you have your cat spayed or neutered, bring them in for their shots, and, once the cat reaches 18 months, begin using the little beast to harvest human organs for those just-in-case moments. The SPCA has several one-sheets on preventing heartworms and using pets to grow small replacement organs. To get your copy, go online or simply make up your own informative facts. An update on the pyramid reported on earlier. Word is in that the pyramid has spoken. It is broadcasting on low-wave frequencies a repeated message. The message is the following. I will place within some of you questions. Within others I will place answers. These questions and these answers will not always align. The questions I provide may have no answers, and the answers I provide may have no questions. I will study the effects of these questions and these answers. Some of you will hurt others, and others will heal. Grow my seeds inside you, and let them flower. The Flakio's marketing department must be complimented for the best use of viral marketing in Night Vale since Stan's Pawn Shop released a virulent strain of Ebola back in '98. And, as a communicator by trade, I applaud their ingenuity. The Sheriff's Secret Police has responded with surface-to-surface missiles, which they say will silence the dark heart of the beast. So far, they have not so much as created a smudge on the pyramid's broad, shiny surface. Home handymen. Fix-it vixens. Ladies and gentlemen who love to get their hands dirty. Let's talk about home repair. Certain jobs are fine for the amateur, and certain others should be left to the professionals. Leaky sinks, sticky windows, minor exorcisms, and bleeding doors, all these are the kind of quick fixes that a toolbox and a quick search on the internet should allow you to take care of. On the other hand, structural damage, major remodeling, seeping darkness, major exorcisms, roof boils, and lawn care. These are all the kind of work that should not be attempted by anyone without years of expertise and a valid hammer license from the City Council. Finding the right professional for the job is easy. Just look in the yellow pages, or head down to the squatter shacks by the edge of the sand wastes and ask around among the homeless. And now a public service announcement from the Night Vale medical community. Being in the desert, we get a lot of sun, and doctors are encouraging Night Vale citizens to do regular skin checks. You may think that freckle or mole is harmless, but you never know when it will grow into something much worse. Surgeons at Night Vale General Hospital are noting an uptick in dermatological growths related to sun exposure. Doctors describe these growths as 15-inch spiraled horns. The horns mostly protrude from the lower back or knees. Unchecked, these horns can develop a glistening shine, small leather saddles, and bright red lips on the very tip. So, check your skin at least once a week in the mirror. Dermatologists recommend a 3-step process. 1. Search meticulously for 15-inch horns protruding from your body. Don't overlook anything. 2. If you find any suspicious growths, mark them with a chalk pentagon. 3. Gently remove the affected skin area with a sterilized razor blade, or similarly clean crafting blade. If you are not one of the 53% of our community that was born without pain-sensing nerves, you should first consult your primary care electrologist for tips on how to numb yourself to the nigh unbearable pain of existence. The Department of Public Safety announced that all street signs in Night Vale will be replaced with traffic cops wielding semaphore flags. Drivers will be required to learn this physically expressive maritime alphabet. This decision is not without its controversy, as the existing street signs are entirely in Braille. One critic, Paul Birmingham, says removing these signs will deflate the Earth. As a member of the Air-Filled Earth Society, Paul believes that Earth is a precariously inflated orb that could pop or sag at any moment. We've got to stop teaching all this religious propaganda in our schools and start teaching real science, Paul shouted from his lean-to behind the library. I have to admit, listeners, he makes a valid point. And now, a word from our sponsor. Today's program is brought to you by Audible.com, your online source for recorded books. There are thousands of great titles at Audible.com that you can download to your computer or portable device and listen to on the go. I use Audible to catch up on best-selling titles like The Help and Van Gogh Notes for Technical Communication 11/E. I'm on their website right now, and I'm typing in a search for dog park because I was thinking about this town's beautiful new fixture and how I will never, ever take my dog there. Let's see what Audible comes up with. It's a flashing black and red screen that says Thought Crime in all caps. And below that, a little animation of 2 digging workers. Under construction. That's adorable. So, check out audible.com. New Audible members can get 1 free audiobook just by smudging their computer monitors with baby's blood and humming the Spanish translation of the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Audible.com. You can't burn what you can't even touch. Update on the pyramid situation. Flaky O's board of directors are vigorously denying, some of them at gunpoint, that they have any part in the pyramid that is stubbornly continuing to exist in our town. They are sneaky ones. I hope the new line of cereal turns out to be worth the hype. Meanwhile, the pyramid itself has altered its broadcast, sending out a second message, which is as follows. Everything you do matters except your life. Death will be the last action you undertake. I do not live, but I exist. What is my purpose? I will not tell you. One day you will discover your purpose, and then you will tell no one. And then you will die. Now, I'm not too good at this viral marketing thing, so I can't see all the codes and hidden web addresses that I'm sure are all through that message. I'll leave that to all the dedicated amateurs out there in the listening world. Sheriff's secret police are now attempting to charge the pyramid with resisting arrest, on the grounds that they couldn't figure out how to arrest it. More as the story develops. In the meantime, let's go to the weather.
One day the snow began to fall, and slowly, inch by inch, it covered up the earth, till finally the top of the tallest building was lost beneath the powdered sea, as quiet as a shadow's grave. We say that the world isn't dying. We pray that the world isn't dying. Just maybe the world isn't dying. Maybe she's heavy with child. One night a woman took my hand. I left my home and followed her into an icy field. When I wanted to go back, I lost the way. So she beckoned to me to lie beneath the stone that always bore my name. We say that the world isn't dying. We pray that the world isn't dying. Just maybe the world and gasoline. With a dim sense of a notion, we'd held something in our hands that was bigger than us or God, and we can never touch again. And we say that the world isn't dying, and we pray that the world isn't dying. And just maybe the world isn't dying. And I've been looking at the symptoms for a while. Maybe she's heavy with child.
Well, listeners, it seems the pyramid has disappeared as mysteriously and suddenly as it arrived. Too late, I'm afraid, for the Flaky O's board of directors, who have all been taken to the abandoned mine shaft outside of town for processing by the city council. The sheriff's secret police are declaring victory in their standoff against the pyramid because, they say, it's about time they won something. Meanwhile, the pyramid has left behind a much tinier pyramid, a mere souvenir of its looming inscrutable mass. This tiny pyramid is broadcasting one final message, a farewell from the geometric shape that stole our hearts. So, let us wrap up our show today with its words. Somewhere there is a map, and on that map is Earth. And attached to Earth is an arrow that says your name and lists your lifespan. Some of you die standing, others sitting. Many of you die in cars. I can never die. It is difficult for me to understand the concept that I am attempting to convey.
What's up?
I cannot show you this vision,
Yes, the old
but you may
Moffington of
imagine
the
it.
Mansworth, yes. I'm
Step
hanging
forward
out.
and tell
Hanging
someone
out.
of it, please.
Wrapping up another episode of Night Vale. Because this is the
You
only
heard it
way
here,
I
folks.
can get myself
Tell
to
people.
listen to these.
Tell people about Flaky O's new line of cereals for nighttime only. Do it in memory of its board of directors.
Game looks like a fever dream.
Stay
It's very
tuned now
good.
for an hour of dead air with the occasional hiss and crackle. Speaking of the nighttime, I truly hope you have a good one, Night Vale. Good night.
Yep. It does. It looks very good. I actually, yeah, this entire thing is all about, like, the rainbow stuff. Let's see. I can get a better view of, like, because it's a rainbow island, which, you know, gay. Let me see if I can get to a place with a good view of, like, the colors. The colors. Yeah. Like, the grass and shit. It changes colors. The one time somebody's like, oh, it looks cool. I can't show off the, like, actually cool looking stuff. See, look at that. And, like, if you stay still long enough, you kind of see the color shift depending on where you are. But yeah. Slime was, I don't know if you know what this is. This is Slime Rancher 2. I've played a lot of Slime Rancher 1 a couple of years ago. I was really into it, and whenever I played it, I would be listening to a podcast, and so I'm doing that now with the second one that came out a couple of days ago, and it's a lot of fun, you know? The only problem I ever have, because I always have a problem with something, is the fact that I played the first Slime Rancher on PS4, and that was on controller. And I can't stream from a PS4 because it's not technically mine, and I don't think the owners of said device will appreciate me stealing it to use for streams. But, so now I'm playing it on my laptop, laptop, the same thing I usually used to stream, and I had to hook up my, this is my Switch Pro controller that I've hooked up to it. Leave me alone. Not my problem, I've decided, yeah. But yeah, it's looking really good. I'm still fairly early game into it. I've only unlocked one other area. And I think I've gotta get more resources and stuff from futzing around. Cause I fucked up my, entire words. Sweet. This is a new mechanic in comparison to, like, the last game. Because the last game, you would have, like, deep brine and stuff, but you'd have to make machines that would harvest them for you, and now I can just do that from my little handheld device, which is funky. I've gone down here before. So you just suck up these creatures with your aggregun and keep them in glass cubes? Yes. So really, Slime Rancher, basically, my personal game style is I will try to make the big versions of these guys, and to do that, I'll show. Are you gonna eat it? Are you gonna eat it? Yep. I make the big versions of these guys. I can then feed them stuff, and then I get twice the amount of plorts I can then sell, or use those plorts to make upgrades for myself. God damn it. But that doesn't require a whole ton of them. So I usually only keep maybe 4, 5, 6 in a cage. And then the rest of the game is mostly just wandering around, exploring, and resource gathering, etc. You know. Because I need money, which is what I get for selling plorts in order to unlock a few of the different areas, and get different upgrades. So yeah. It's not the most ethical thing in the world, I'll admit to that. I do usually feel pretty bad about slapping them in those little cubes, but I just can't. It's way too difficult to, like, keep them alive when they're not inside of the cubes, because they'll go and wander off and then they'll get like these more than 2 different kind of plorts, and that'll turn them into the sentient plushies my base contained. Yeah, I need to keep them in the cage. Yeah, because if they consume more than 2 different kinds of plorts, they'll turn into those goopy, like those oily black things that we just saw over here. I don't know if they're still over here. I can show them. Yeah. I think one exploded right in front of me. Yeah, they're exploding. They'll eventually explode, but that's the thing. They'll destroy all of the other slimes, and then themselves, you know? Boop. Take this, though. Water lettuce. So yeah, what are they called? That's gonna bug me if I don't figure out what they're called. 1 second. Water lettuce, no, come back. I hit the wrong button. Is that the latest Night Vale over then? No, I'm talking and I don't want to talk over the narration. That was only episode, I want to say that was episode 9. I'm doing a complete re-listen to it. and I just haven't gotten around to quite doing it. I did another one of these streams where I played like episodes 1 through 5 or something at the time. No. And I'm trying to get to 15. However, I do have a bit of an appointment that I have to leave for in about 10 minutes. So, I was listening to Alice Isn't Dead a while ago. I've heard of that. I heard it was pretty good. What are you thinking about it? What are your thoughts? .trademark.dm. Not the water lettuce. Give me my water lettuce back. Alice Isn't Dead with Jeffrey. Oh, it has a lesbian truck drivers in it, so oh yeah. So pog as hell is what I'm hearing. It's the good shit .trademark. But yeah, I've been thinking about listening to it. It's more of a horror kind of thing, if I remember correctly, or a thriller or something. At least that's what I was getting from, like, hearing about it. But, you know, I do like the concept of lesbian truck drivers, you know. I could be one of those if I tried hard enough. I can drive pretty okay. I've never driven a truck, per se, but I've driven other things. And that hasn't gone disastrously yet. Sweet. It's set in the Night Vale universe, I think. Really? I did not know that. I thought it was a whole other thing. Might have to give it a listen then. Did you get far into it or anything? I've never listened to a full-size semi. I've never driven a full-size semi-Arctic, but I've driven an old British Army truck from the 70s, and it was epic. That sounds dope as hell. I'm not a big car person. I like have one, and I drive it around all the time. I've taken like car care repair classes and stuff before in the past, but it wasn't like crazy, you know. Into it, it was more like your basic repair. Here's how to change a tire. Here's how to change your light bulbs and stuff, and all that stuff. You know. So yeah. I always have to teach people the basics of car care. Sweet. Yeah, I need to get my, fucking, what's it called? My muffler looked at on my car. Stop the bro dude mechanics from ripping them off. Fair enough. I go to a pretty chill mechanic now. I used to go to, like, my dad's mechanic, and that guy was totally ripping me off every time I went there. But I recently switched over to a different guy, and he's been pretty chill. And has made it so I don't quite hate my life. How does this fucking mechanic work? But yeah. I'm not grade A, mechanics-wise, but, you know, I don't think my car's gonna blow up anytime soon. Well, I say that, and that's just jinxing myself. They never know what to make of me when I walk into the mechanics shop. That's what you want, though. That's like what you... pink androgynous queer person is in a really obscure old sports car. Yeah. Give them a run for their money, you know? Ooh. Fuck. I have enough money for an area. Yeah, I don't know. I got the good old-fashioned sexism treatment most of the time I was going there. Woo! We're gonna pick this mess up. I'm excited. And we're gonna... Hey, never mind. Okay. Yeah, it's a problem. There are several shops in the US now run by female mechanics for that reason. Yeah, I mean, not where I live. And really, in the end, I don't care who's running the mechanic shop, so long as people aren't, like, a fucking asshole to me, you know? Like, please let me live my life. Oh, good. Alright, wait. This is good. I'll put you guys in here. Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, the asshole ratio is pretty strong. Yeah. It's almost like you gotta put it in the job description. Oh, what a pain. Alright, new area. Cars, in the end, are cars, and they serve a purpose, and they're so important to have most of the time in the US that it sucks. And they just break down so easily, it feels like. All the time, constantly. But yeah. Maybe that's just me, like, saying that after I've been driving a whole lot recently, just because I do things, you know, in general. So my brain's like, I'm so tired of driving a car and having to deal with that. Depends usually on what you drive and how it was looked at before you had it. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, like, I've never gotten a new car. Like, no. I'm still, I like, on the grand scheme of things, I'm still fairly new to the whole driving game, in that I've only been driving for about 5 years now, you know? Which is old to all of my friends who have only been driving for maybe upwards of 3 at the most. It also makes me designated driver in the friend group most of the time, which, for me, is cool. I'm just jumping around, trying to see if I can find these secrets. Been driving for 12 years? See, so you're probably the better driver than me, you know? Yeah. I turned 20 2 days ago, so I've been driving since I was 15. But I mean, it's just, the drivers here suck so much. They suck so much ass. So much ass. And it's a pain. It's a pain to deal with people. I literally, like, wrote an entire paper about how much drivers here suck. You know? Somebody... And I don't know. The high amounts of road rage, I don't know what it is. It's just people being awful. But yeah. Fuck. drivers here, they're not usually bad, but they drive slowly and don't pay attention. There's rarely space on a lot of the roads to overtake. Yeah, I've got a kind of the opposite. People very much like going speed racer around here. It's big city. Big city for where I'm at. I live, right next to, like, Omaha in Nebraska. Well, you wouldn't know. I don't know. I'm, like, 90% sure you don't live in the States, Loft. But yeah, it's, I live in a big city with big fucking highways. Saul worked at Cinnabon. No, I live in the UK. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. No. I live in big city with, like, you know, where they've got the, what's it called? To get to work every day, I have to go on a road that has, like, 6 lanes on it, and it's, you know, everybody's going 75 on the 65. You know, I just keep seeing accidents on the side of the road because people don't want to fucking slow down and they don't want to, you know, let people in on busy highways, you know. Somebody tried to shove me off the road the other day because I was trying to let a guy in on my right, and then somebody decided to zoom past me on my left and I couldn't let him in, and then he flipped me off, you know. I'll take 75 and a 65 over 35 and a 60, as I've had recently. Yeah, that's a pain in the ass. Yeah. Yeah, those one-lane roads can be rough. Yeah. I don't usually have to use those. I had to on a longer trip a few years back, and then I gave my grandmother a heart attack apparently when I was passing somebody on that one lane. But we were fine, nothing happened. We were fine. What was I doing? I've already forgotten. Ooh, I can do upgrades. That's what I can do. But yeah. Driving sucks sometimes. I wish people were smarter on the road. That's my thesis, I guess. Hog. I like how you can put chickens in a silo. Alright, so these are my little guys that are in a pen now. I don't know, did I already go over here? In the first Slime Rancher, when you opened up these bigger areas, it would lead to sometimes other places, but I guess since we're on the tail end of the island, it really won't do that. Alright. And that's to say, it's not like I don't like driving. It's like, it's not my favorite thing in the world in that I've got the whole, you'll die in a car accident mindset. Just going statistically, I'm more likely to die that way, which is why I'm like, oh, okay. My mom used to start screeching at me if I went anywhere near the speed limit, so I've developed a method where every time she tells me to slow down, I drive faster. It bloody works. That's funny. I don't know. I was always told to speed. Yeah, cars are a thing. I don't know a whole lot about them. I knew a guy who was a mechanic. Well, not really a mechanic. Like, I had a part-time job when I was younger, and he was using all of his money to buy just a bunch of cars. Like, this guy was the same age as me at the time, so like a baby teenager, and he's like, yep, I just keep buying broken cars, and I'm like, alrighty. unfortunately gonna have to head off now, unfortunately, just because I do have a little bit of an appointment that I promised that I would meet up for. You can buy them and flip them for more money. It's a good hustle. Yeah. I get that logic. Not something that I'm interested in. But, conservatory. Yep. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, I'm pointing. I say, yeah. Thanks for coming by, much appreciated. Thanks for everybody who came by. All again, much appreciated. I don't know if I'll be back online today for more Slime Rancher or anything else. I might be. I might be. I don't know. We're uncertain at this time. But a big ol' thank you to everyone who's came by, said hi, etc. And I'll see you in my next stream. Bye-bye!